I will forever be fascinated with how much thought is put into every design and innovation that goes into the concrete field. Since really, I'm really amazed by, let's say, the designs in the FRC, the one ACI Philippines hosted recently. It's really an amazing event that showcased the knowledge of everyone.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to this month's episode of Engineering Greatness, an original podcast series produced with the American Concrete Institute. I'm Erica Maybola, the chairperson of the Council of Student Leaders of ACI Philippines. And with me today is a fellow student slash student leader and a good friend of mine. Let's welcome Allison.
Hello. It's really a great pleasure to be part of the episode 10 of Engineering Greatness podcast. Me and Kai, we never really expected to be part of this podcast. And previously, we've seen the guests to be young professionals, and we aren't really young professionals ourselves, but I think we're going there since we are graduating college this year, and we're on the way to being ACI young professionals. Yep.
Yeah, so at this point, we'd like to thank ACI for inviting us here and being the first Asian and Filipinos to do the podcast for ACI. And I think what also makes this podcast a more special one, as you said, Ali, we're both undergraduate students transitioning to becoming young professionals. And we know that this podcast series, as the tagline says, it was created for young professionals by young professionals. And we also saw from the past episodes that we had a glimpse of like diverse paths of these young professionals, their overwhelming accomplishments, and their plans for the years to come. So, being here as an undergraduate student, it is like a manifestation of our near futures. So, for this episode, we'll be sharing with you our academic, leadership, and career experiences, our accomplishments, well, that's so far, and some unsolicited advice that we can give to our fellow students. So, if you're a student slash student leader and you're here with us, just keep on listening. All right. I'm so excited for to have this conversation with you, Ali. We've known each other for over a year now, and that's because of ACI. Thanks, ACI. So, despite the late night Discord hangouts we had before, I'm pretty sure that there are a lot more things that we still don't know about each other. So, I got an idea. How about we act like we're two strangers who just bump into each other? So, girl, how about you introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm good day, everyone, and to our listeners. I am Jade Alison Pelayo, and I am a graduating student from the Technological University of the Philippines. And my major is on structural engineering. So it's really a great pleasure to be here today, and thank you, ACI, for inviting us.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hi, Ali and everyone. So, it's so nice to meet you all. I'm Erica. People call me Kyle. That's K-A-Y, but some people call me K. Yeah, I'm 22 and I'm born and raised here in the Philippines. And I'm currently in my senior year taking Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering with a specialization in Construction Engineering and Management in Ateneo de Naga University. And hey, you know what? Um, it's already my last semester before I finally graduate. Yay. And tomorrow is our official start for our class. But I think this will be released on April, so like months have already passed. So speaking of, like usually when we go back to school, I know a lot of Filipino students can relate to this. A part of getting to know each other are these questions that we usually ask. And two of these are like who and like what inspired you to study your course or specifically for us civil engineering, and second is how and why did you choose the university like PUP Manila? So Ali, tell us your story.
Actually, civil engineering was really a lifelong dream. Unlike those, my classmates or like schoolmates, it was really a product of one proud moment during our junior high school, where we were tasked to make a plan or create a floor plan for a massive shopping center. It was actually under my advanced mathematics class, and it was tasked just to teach us measurements and making sure that we are measuring things correctly. So, I really had fun doing that together with my group mates, and actually my group mates and my professors were really proud of that shopping center that I did. And then I realized that maybe designing is for me. So, and actually I thought I was really, really good at mathematics during my junior high school. So
Wow.
from that moment, I really invested into getting into civil engineering. I really studied so much during that year, since I initially planned to take accountancy, but then engineering became a spur of a moment dream. And you know what more is more perfect than having your dream course in your dream university? And actually, my dream university is the TUP Manila, where I am right now. And then it's really hard to get into TUP Manila since they have really high standards. And I'm from the province, and my school wasn't really focused on engineering. But then I took the exam, I passed, and you know, I'm here right now, and I'm currently on my last year, and I hope I'm making TUP Manila proud. So that's it. That's my story, and then it's a really a dream course and dream school combo. So it's really burning the passion in me to be an engineer and to make my favorite and my dream school proud. So how about you, Kai? How come you're a civil engineering in Ateneo de Naga? I really want
Oh
to know.
yeah. Yeah. Well, as for me, I think short but typical answer, it's a childhood dream. Yeah, I know that's very ideal, but like growing up, I've been eyeing to like someday, hey, I want to wear that hard hat. Like I also want to wear like safety shoes, holding floor plan, like staring at my whole own house that I built. Like I know that's something they can also picture out to. So if you're listening and you can relate to that, so comment down below. So back in preschool, I also really want to become a nurse. Like you want to become like an accountant, but for me, I want to be a nurse. And I think my dream to become an engineer started when I was in elementary. Like I suddenly had this fascination with big houses. Maybe that's also because of like my family lives in a humble abode. And like but throughout the years that somehow changed. And if you ask me now, I actually don't want to build towering buildings, skyscrapers, whatnot. Like reason evolved when I started to think bigger than myself, and that's very much inclined now to my advocacy and sustainability. And I think I'll be discussing a bit about that later. But and I think we're just starting, but I kind of becoming so serious. Yeah, I don't want to like bore listeners and want to keep this conversation laid back as much as possible. So, you asked or I asked why I am here in the university. So specifically, why I chose Ateneo. So for a bit of spice, let's add a bit of controversy to this conversation. In the Philippines, when you hear Ateneo, Ali, what's your impression in Araneo? What's your
You know,
impression?
famous school here in Manila, the main Ateneo main. So it's
Yeah,
really a
Ateneo.
level school, and then students there are really having high class lifestyle, and they're really really amazing people to be with. They have really wide
Yeah.
visions.
Yeah, that's one of the typical answer when you ask people, that's Ateneo, What's your passion? Like, so like if I'm being brutally honest, I chose this university because of like basically because of its name. It's reputable, it's influential. And I think, it's also a common notion that being a graduate of Ateneo here in the Philippines, that's your edge. Like, I mean, we know that the big four universities in the Philippines, that includes Ateneo, but Ateneo de Manila. But still, when even though that I'm here in Ateneo de Naga, that still carries the name of Ateneo. Because I don't think that there's was this someone who told me that HR don't don't really care about like whatever campus that you're in, but as long as you're in Ateneo. But well, I really want to debunk that, like that's a myth, I think. Yeah, so don't fret because school alone is not the make or break factor for your like opportunities that awaits you in the future. So yeah, and also I think For the longest time, I held onto that quote unquote popularity reason, but now I appreciate Ateneo for its like holistic approach and set of values that Ateneo still instills in its students. For example, I think you also notice these the old but gold badges, like becoming and doing more of yourself. And although there are still lots of points to improve in Ateneo, for example, its system like specialty collective teaching facilities, etc. So yeah, I think it's here also in Ateneo that I felt or experienced my first love hate relationship with research. God, yeah. So would you like, yeah, but I think I would like to hear like a few stories about you also, like on your research experience first.
Actually, TUP is really known to have good mentors in research since most of our professors, especially most of the civil engineering professors, have their studies published in international journals. And to be specific, our tenure professor, Dr. Bakay. He is one of the developers of using the BIM model here in the Philippines, and it's really something that I've always looked up to, knowing that he's really approachable to students and he converses regularly with us, especially that I'm somewhat a member of the TP Civil Engineering Society, who always have close relationships with the faculty. And yeah. So a few exhibits of our great mentors in the university is that we recently won the Skills Olympics, which was awarded
Oh,
last Philippine.
yeah, I heard. You're the champion, right? Yeah.
Actually, junior students, and they're really good and they really have great mentors. And we were really actually I personally was expecting their win, knowing how much effort they put into that competition. We would always go to the university and we would see them assembling their models, calculating their design. And that it's really something that fuels the passion in you to be an engineer, knowing that as these students they have never really reached the top yet. They're not graduating. They're just sophomores, I guess. And then they're striving to put the university's name into the pedestal by winning and by doing their very best. So yeah, aside also from that, I was also part of a team that made it to the semifinals of the National Civil Engineering Quiz Bowl held by the UP Diliman University for two
Yeah.
consecutive. Yeah. And aside from us, we were Team B, I guess, and the Team A, consisting of the same students who won the Skills Olympics. They were, I think, second place or first place consecutively for the NSET. And it's really something that amazes you to know that even though we don't really have that much amazing facilities compared to other universities, we really excel through our knowledge and through the guidance that the professors gives us. But actually, I'm really focusing right now in geotechnical engineering, which is really far from what influenced me. Like I said earlier, what influenced me to become a civil engineer was the design, the structural and the
Yeah.
design factors. But as time went on, when I first had my subject, which was the geotechnical engineering, focuses mainly on soil, foundation, and other things involving what's under the building itself. I was really fascinated. I really wanted to venture into that field and I really wanted to learn. And right now, actually, I'm currently taking my thesis since I'm a graduating student. And our thesis focuses mainly on the big one, induced liquefaction in essential buildings here in Metro Manila. So, as of now, I am not really focusing on what ignited the fire in me to be a civil engineer, and also I'm not really focusing on the concrete industry itself, but I will forever be fascinated with how much thought is put into every design and innovation that goes into the concrete field. Since really, I'm really amazed by, let's say, the designs in the FRC, the one ACI Philippines hosted recently. It's really an amazing event that showcased the knowledge of everyone. And also, I've been reading the journals provided for free by Complete.org. And it's really something to look forward to, knowing that individuals are working into making this world a more sustainable world for all of us. So that's it. So, you know, I really fought hard also to take geotechnical engineering as my on-the-job training specialization. Since geotechnical engineering isn't really famous here in the Philippines. Most companies taking trainees focus mainly on structural design, construction. But then I hopefully found one that really aligned with what I wanted to pursue in the future. And it's really heartwarming knowing that I was accepted in the company that nurtures young engineers like us to be more responsible and more aware of the engineering field. Actually, Kai, in my company that I had my training in, they would give us a project of our own and we would really take
Oh,
responsibility.
that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a new experience for me since most stories coming from our seniors would say that during trainings they would only be taught to do this, to do that. They would be guided. But in our company we were given specific projects. So it's really an amazing experience because they treated us like employees. We were responsible for all our work, but also they were guiding us. So yeah. Actually, Kai, I was taking my training, on the job training, almost at the same time as you. So, and then I saw in your post, I think, that you were training under a structural design and
Yeah.
construction. So, I'm really curious. So, would you kindly tell me about it, about your
The
experience, how was?
internship. Yeah. So yeah, I think here in the Philippines, that's also true that most companies accepts like students for internship and give them like structural or construction related activities or projects. So you're so lucky that you found a company that who gave you that geotechnical specialty experiences. So yeah, as for me, um it's not really internship, like because in the Philippines when you say internship you have to be paid. Yeah, so technically I don't have any internship experiences yet, but training, yes. My first work immersion was in Department of Public Works and Highways and DPWH. That was in senior high school. That and I was a STEM student, and that's only like more or less 2 weeks though. Like, and then last year, that's when, like, when you saw my IG stories, those posts that I had before. So like July 2022, I had my 240 hour on the job training in the institutional planning and development office of CBSUA Pilica Marini Sur Pili campus here in Kamsur. So shout out to Team IPDO. Yeah, I miss you guys. So from the name of the office itself, you know very well it is more aligned in the field of structural and construction engineering, right? Because but it was kind of a regret for me because pre-pandemic the trainees were deployed in Manila. So I think um I really dreamed of like to have my training there in Manila. But COVID happened, restrictions, and we were assigned instead to the project sites of our university instructors who became, well, basically they were our supervisors. um yeah, in this training we had our teams where we were assigned to different projects as well, and we have this unique projects that were assigned to everyone, but ours were like a circular building because we have this team. And um for this circular building, yeah, that's very like that's a first time because in our university, what what we were like designing were like rectangular, like a regular shape, like, but for this we were given like a circular building, so we're kind of shocked. So and we did a couple of analysis on its structural integrity, and we also did its cost estimate. And then along with a bunch of site visits, I really enjoyed that experience as the pandemic cost us, it's also true to all of the students, since it cost us like a wide gap for like the knowledge that we were supposed to have. And especially for engineering students, since our field requires us a lot of hands-on activities and it's basically performance-based. But I think also that the whole experience itself in the training, it was also a big deciding factor for me for what I chose as a specialization for my final year as an undergraduate student. For your information, here in the Philippines, or I think it's in our curriculum, um, in your fourth year, so since CE here in the Philippines is 4 years, in your fourth year, you have to choose a specialization. Like if you want geotechnical structural construction, then I chose CEM, construction engineering and management. I felt like my skills, knowledge, character were more fitting for CEM. Yeah, I think you also feel that, Ali. So yeah, I'm here. But yeah, as an undergraduate student, we really don't have to figure it all out. And it's okay to feel that you're not yet on the right track or whatever you choose, whether it's structural, CEM, geotech, water, or any other fields of CE, it's a long and hard learning experience. I myself, I've been like exploring. Although I'm in CEM, my research now is in the field of water resources. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. But like speaking of research, I think it's also worthy to share my experiences on research. Like you know what? Um I've mentioned that I had this love-hate relationship on research here in Ateneo because I'd like to share when my first research was, I think, back in senior high school when I chose STEM strand. I was in my 12th grade. It was like an experimental experience, identity crisis, I guess. I don't know why I studied mangroves. Yeah, mangroves. It wasn't a, I think for mangroves, we had this assessment like species composition of mangrove forests, and we were supposed to research anything related to our future college course, which is spoiler alert, engineering. But somehow I detoured to a different field, which is biology. It was a funny identity crisis. Yeah, and then ACI arrived in our university in 2020. I'll talk more about the student chapter later on, but fast forward to 2021, my team joined the virtual eco-concrete competition. The objective of the competition was basically to develop and or innovate like concrete mix. Then like the competition is itself has to be the teams have to have like the lowest possible environmental impact. I think you know that, Ali, since well you're part of ACI, while maintaining yeah, while maintaining
Um,
or improving the durability performance. Also, the challenge was to use local resources of eco-friendly materials, right? So let me just, alien talk for a minute. My team was able to get a result of an average potential environmental impact reduction, that's PEIR, of 23.8%. That's actually high compared to the other teams. And our design mix could potentially double the service life of 23.7. And if you want to learn more about it, you may actually watch our video on YouTube. Just search Eco Concrete Competition ACI 2021 KNKR2. That's our team name, KNKR2. Yeah, that gave us a third spot against 13 competing teams from different countries. It was indeed a proud moment from the Philippines, I know. And it is worthwhile experience for students like us seeking experience in the study of concrete amidst pandemic. Yeah, I think I've been blubbering about myself already like a lot. Ali, this is not my talk show, okay? Yeah. So anyway, um, since I've mentioned a while ago that some students really don't know how to choose what specialization should they be taking. But there are a lot more ways to explore your interests, and it's also a way to enjoy college and at the same time learn about your future profession. So Ali and I know this very well. you know, you know what I'm talking about, Ali. So please don't pretend. Ladies and gentlemen, this friend of mine is a BSc student majoring in student organizations. Ali, I'm so sorry. I dropped that. Yeah, Ali, come on. Share with us your organizations.
Actually, I was mainly focusing on ACI and our TUPSES, TUP Civil Engineering Society, last year. But then, when duty calls. So this
Yeah.
year, when I'm from ACI, I completely stepped down from ACI to give way to our new officers to serve. Since being part of ACI, especially CSL, we pioneered CSL. We really built it from scratch. It was really a satisfying experience knowing that you built an outstanding organization with great people all from scratch. So it was really a proud moment for me, and I can say I peaked during our building the ACI PCSL. So right now, when I, let's say, graduated from CSL and TUPSES, I joined several organizations. Actually, I chose this organization by how much I wanted to impact the people in said organization. So now I am part of the Junior Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, which is the national student organization under PICE, which is also the National Organization of the Philippines for Civil Engineers. And currently, I am the Vice President Internal representing TUP. And, our term has just started, and we're striving to do the best, do better, and always stand up to the standards set by the previous year. Actually, during our pre-recording talk, Kai and I talked about inviting each other to events. Since imagine how much power and how much knowledge you can gain from two of the most outstanding organizations in the Philippines
Yeah.
collaborating into an event that would really be beneficial for our students, right?
Yeah,
So
I
I think
agree.
that's my goal for this year with my organization. I really wanted to work well with the TSL since knowing how amazing Kai is doing a good job together with her teams to make TSL something that I never thought I would see. Since when we started TSL, we were really in the dark when deciding. It was our first year. It was actually Kai's first year serving in the national division of ACI, and she really did well as co-chair to our chairman. And I think I really learned so much from her since I was working as a
Oh.
non-academic during that time. And
Thanks,
it's really,
Ali.
really humbling experience knowing that I got to work with someone like her with so much vision, and I really admired her love for sustainability. It was something that most millennials today do not really focus on. And I really love that since back in my senior high school, I was member of of an organization that focuses mainly on promoting sustainability and awareness in the youth. And I thought that era of mine was over when I moved to Manila. I'm from the province, since Manila life is tedious for someone who wants to practice sustainability. And then I realized life doesn't end within the borders of Manila. And then that's when I met Kai with her love for sustainability. And that's when I realized, oh, it's not only limited to a certain demographic of people to love sustainability and do engineering. Actually,
Yeah.
sustainability engineering is really famous in our field right now. Most
Yeah.
engineers on that, and I think Kai, you will really do great in sustainability engineering. Knowing how much you love that that field, knowing how good you are in leading a team. So I think you
Yeah.
can really promote sustainability. Actually, Kai, just a little side comment on your sharing earlier about eco concrete. I was the one who proofread that article. You were on the headline. You and KNKR2 were on the headline of our newsletter, right, in CSL. And well,
Yeah.
it was really whoa. It was a whoa moment because, oh my God. these people, they were really new to ACI and they really made us proud. And that will forever be a moment etched in my mind that I got to work with these people. I learned from these people, and it was something that I will treasure. So, you know, our listeners, from co-chair, Kai was promoted recently to being chairman of CSL, and she has really
Yeah,
been doing some great works with CSL. She's
I hope
improving
so.
our she's improving our lineup since recently, until recently, our lineup was like a common composition of organizations, like the typical non-academic and academic section head. And Kai here planned with her team to make it more specific, to focus, to have teams focus on specific parts of the organization and to work together, to collaborate, to be a better organization. So, Kai, I would like you to discuss with me how did you manage to make ACI this great, even on your second year as member of ACI and CSL's second year as the Council of Student Leaders under ACI National.
Yeah, just a quick like background on I how I got here. Well, in 2020, we had this like student chapter in Ateneo. That's 2020. Then 2021, I was elected as a president. And that same year, I was appointed by the Board of Trustees of the ACI Philippines as the co-chair of the Council of Student Leaders. Then that was like, oh my God, that's what's so fast. But I think what made the weight of responsibilities I had to fulfill a lot easier to carry was the presence and guidance of ACI Philippines and ACI, of course. I really appreciate their efforts to like support Philippine student chapters in whatever possible ways they can. One thing I also like about what they were doing was them creating a community for student leaders, like the Council of Student Leaders. Just a quick background also. The Council of Student Leaders was formerly known as the Federation of Student Leaders. That's where I met Ali. And it's so cool that we got to meet and know the different student chapter presidents from 20 plus student chapters in the Philippines. So yeah, you asked how does it feel to to be given that big responsibility, and how like I applied the changes that I'm doing now. So yeah, first it was really an honor to be appointed as a co-chair, now promoted as the chairperson of the council. And it really boosted my confidence and like to serve the community in a national level. And I think um I I actually got to talk to a couple of like student chapter presidents from the Philippines. It's also like from Bangladesh, Iraq, Egypt. Yeah. Last year I made this chat group with them. We had this very random thought of what if we build an alliance among student leaders across the globe? Yeah, that's so cool, right? To be able to connect to different student chapter presidents of ACI. Yeah, it basically has the same mission of CSL, but unfortunately we were kind of busy last year. So but that's one of the goals this year. It's one of my that's by the way one of those that I want to tick in my bucket list this year, to pursue that passion project. And now, since I'm serving as the chairperson, I made a couple of changes and revision in the bylaws to make sure that we play by the book of ACI, of ACI Philippines, and restructuring the council so that we have specific working committees assigned to do this, to do that. And yeah, it was, I think, to make the long story short, it was the experience, the whole experience itself. When I was the co-chair, I knew there were lots of some points to improve, which and that starts with properly establishing our true mission and vision. And that is to strengthen the bond of the 20 plus student chapters and to expand the reach of ACI here in the Philippines. And I'm also happy to report that I think we have like 10 interested universities now to establish their own student chapters in the Philippines. And I think that has something to do with your philosophy and your leadership, like for the community that you're building or that you've already built. And Yeah, I think if you want to be like an effective leader, you have to learn at least a little about everything. It also applies not just to student leaders but our industry leaders. What do I mean by that? Like, speaking from my meaningful growth in student leadership over the past decade, it was an investment of time, resources to learn and improve the skills that I have acquired. Having the thought that there are people surrounding me that maybe they either look up or look from afar, I knew I needed to inspire them and to like um um give give them what they expect from me, and at the same time, by acknowledging that leadership demands me to learn the bits and bobs of the community, it is when I started to know at least a little about everything. So for me to make sense, for example, I'm overseeing now like 14 diverse working committees and CSL. And we have 70 and counting presidents and junior officers that I work with. These committees have specific projects or events being organized, and it is undeniable that it would be difficult or impossible to meet the expected deliverables if I myself, who's monitoring it, has no idea about it, right? So did you know that I had to learn the basics of layout and design and developing a website? Yeah, I had to do that because to know I need to know what I'm expecting. Like, yeah, it really takes experience and a long but smart learning process. In short, for to be an effective student leader, I think you have to be teachable. How about you, Ali? Just, a few words for our leaders who are listening. What are your like philosophies before we end?
Actually, first, I would like to agree with what you said that you had to learn the basics of web designing and layouting.
Yeah,
Uh,
basically everything, I think. Yeah.
I would hear from co-officers that you're basically one man team. Actually, I'm not
Yeah.
focusing on one team. I just believe that to be really an effective student leader, you need to learn the basics of everything that you're delegating to your people. So right
Yeah.
now, one field that I haven't ventured into is multimedia, the video editing and stuff. I really can't get a grasp of that thing. But aside from those, I know the basics. Like I do layout, I do captioning, I do narrative reports, and it's really a humbling experience. Every time I'm learning something new, because I would realize that oh, this is how hard the job can be when things get hectic, and it was something that made me realize that I need to do something to delegate to make my officers or my co-officers know that I understand them. And I think this is where I would like to share my leadership philosophy. Actually, I've discussed this leadership philosophy twice. The first one was during the session for elections in my national organization right now. And the other one was when I was invited to be a speaker in our student chapter. I was really shocked when they invited me and really overwhelmed with the support and the people who listen. So I would like to share my leadership philosophy. It starts with a question. How do you ace student leadership? So my leadership philosophy falls under the uh, A, AC, and E. So first one is accountability. I really practice accountability in wherever organization I'm at. So my co-officers and the members would know na uh, I know how to take accountability for each decision, each mistake, each success of the organization. I really practice accountability with all my co-officers. Next is the communication and coaching. An organization would really thrive if there is communication and coaching between the officers. You nurture the values of officers. You make them excel in the fields that they believe are the best in. And this tandems with the last one, E, empowerment. In any organization that I'm a part of, I make sure to empower people, empower my co-officers to know that whatever skill they have, they should not be ashamed or insecure of that skill, even though it's small, even though it's just uh, editing small pubs. making videos, using PowerPoint. It's really an amazing job. Not everyone knows how to do that. And it's
Yeah,
really someone
definitely.
to be proud of. Yeah, I remember seeing a tweet saying, I really fear people editing videos in PowerPoint. And it's really something that struck me because as you've seen during my term as business president, all videos and pre-programmed slideshows were created using PowerPoint by our multimedia team. And it's really something that you wouldn't think that it's made in PowerPoint. So I think that is a product of empowering the greatness. Let's just insert the title. The greatness in each and every individual that we work with. So for me, that is how I have aced student leadership so far. So that's it.
You know, Ali, I really admire you, and I want to learn more about what you've discussed. So, but sad to say, we're now at the end of our conversation. So I guess I just have to chat you and ask more more about it. But we hope that our listeners, our viewers, have learned a thing or two from us, and I think so that you learned, especially from Ali. Yeah, but before we say goodbye, I would like to leave a question to ponder for student leaders or our leaders in the industry right now. With all these things that we have shared with you, if you will be given a chance to reestablish CSL, the Council of Student Leaders, from scratch, would you do it again? Comment down below if you do. Yeah, Ali.
Yes, and that's it for the episode 10 of Engineering Greatness. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you to everyone for listening to our podcast. Join us every month as ACI brings together pairs of young professionals in the concrete industry to engage in intimate conversations about their life, work, and for us, our school organization. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And for more information about the American Concrete Institute, you may visit us online at concrete.org. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, everyone.